Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Untitled Tarot and to my late full moon readings. I tried to start on the full moon yesterday. If you saw the one reading that I did present, I was having technical issues. But I really enjoy doing these Gods at Play readings, looking at the opposing forces that may be working with us over the past. Well, for today's reading, it's an interesting one because it could be for the next 2 weeks, waiting up until the new moon, and we're clearing out of the whole Cancer Capricorn cycle, which this lunar eclipse last night, which was not a good one. Listening to all the astrologers, it's not good. It could be, obviously, for the next 4 weeks, working up until the next full moon. It could be for the next 6 months, working all the way towards the next eclipse, which I think is on the winter solstice. It's interesting that this year, which is remarkable for having 6 eclipses rather than 4, that the eclipses are actually smack bang on the solstice points. So, just in case you hadn't noticed, 2020 is a really big year. And of course, there's nothing going on in the world that would give you that impression, is there? Right, so I look at the opposing forces here. This is a... you could ask a question beforehand. It's not the sort of reading where I guarantee that you will actually get an answer because, as I say, we are looking at the forces. We are looking at the energies that are at play. I have 2 rows on my reading. The top row is looking at the gods as archontic masks, as in forces that are designed to oppress us, to press us down and keep us separated from the divine. The bottom row is a more pagan view of the gods, where they are free natural forces, independent entities and energies in and of their own right, and they are working to lift us up. Now, I come from a philosophy where, within reason, and there's a comment in itself, but within reason, everything is true. Everything is real. So I can see the effects of the archontic masks of the gods, and I can see the gods. I have more of a pagan background than not. So it's I have Gnostic leanings as well. So the two sort of clash against one another. And there's always the thought that the pagan gods, if there are only archons and then the angels above them, then the pagan gods that we work with are egregores, astral creations of mankind. But these pagan gods, these egregores, are old creations of mankind. They'll have gained some wisdom and some energy and some power along the way. I don't personally think that they are egregores, although I do think that there are egregores of them, if that makes sense. Anyway, way too technical. Let's me get on to dealing the cards. So it's a general reading. There's not even an element of take what resonates necessarily because it's not that sort of reading. You can have a look at the energies and then observe to see whether they're at play or not in your life, and you're not necessarily going to know while watching the reading right now. But don't take my words as gospel, but also do watch your sun, your moon and your rising signs. I think certainly in a lunar eclipse month, watch your moon. Definitely. Watch your sun sign because, as Soul Garden TV says, Chris Witecki, that's your first story, your primary story. Your rising sign is the secondary story. Although in ancient astrology, your rising sign was the most important. But when we're dealing with moon readings, I think the moon features in there somewhere. So if you don't know what your moon and rising sign are, there's a link down below in the description. Follow that through to, I think it's a Cafe Astrology one, but AstroSeek is really good as well, because you can do all sorts of little, like change the house system that you're working with, and do you want to see asteroids or not. So I think I should start putting the AstroSeek link in there as well. There's also a link down there for a Facebook page for the channel. Now that has its own inbox, so if you want to contact me directly for a personal reading via that, you can do. I post all of these videos obviously, and all the astrology videos that I watch, and sometimes other, well, as I call it, in a respectful and reverent fashion, all the hocus pocus nonsense that I watch, because people can get too serious with this, and the whole point of existence is supposed to be working towards joy, isn't it? You know, so, you know, yes, take it seriously, but don't take it too seriously. You know, have a sense of humour about it, because the world is ludicrous. The fact that we chose to do this as incarnate souls is ludicrous, and so it's worth a smile. Yeah, I think that's it for the housekeeping. So, like I say, looking at the opposing energies, because full moon, sun opposed moon. All right, let me bring up the cards. And of course, as always, there's a timestamp down below. So if you have just joined us from the timestamp, welcome Libra rising and Libra moon. Now, there's a similar story I see here as to what I've seen with a few of these readings so far, and it's all to do with being pressured from an outside source to take in some form of action, some form of defensive protective action, to or defend something that I wonder whether it's really worth defending. There's a contract that you have made with yourself, with Akat here. Akat in this deck is symbolising dedication, but he's basically, and I was surprised when I found out about him, the Mayan god of tattooists. He witnesses the contracts that you sign with yourself and with others. And that contract with yourself is about perceiving what you see as the natural order of things, because things are due for a shake-up. I mean, we know that by looking at the news, you know, but we're certainly in a realm around you. Things are due for a shake-up because they've not necessarily been obeying a natural order, and you have the strength to go forward with this. You have the strength to go forward to this, which causes a sense of, or a period of rest, respite. We have the goddess Nyx here, who in one of the Greek creation myths is the creator. Simple as that. Everything rose out of night, out of the dark. So, you know, Nyx is one creator goddess, just the formless chaos is another creator. So Nyx here very much tells me, despite the fact that she's down as respite, and I think there is that sense of that period of rest or respite, but it's almost like the calm before the storm, before this new universe just erupts into being. However, the traps that are laid out for you, we have Typhon with anger and rage, Hephaestus with work, Rhiannon with self-trust, and Boudica with unity, Galech with endurance, and Heracles as protector. So again, something makes you angry, something is designed to make you angry. Something is designed to make you angry that you have to work, that you feel you have to work against, or you are encouraged to feel that you have to work against. And this is calling into question how much you are, well, I'm going to put it negatively, how much you are in lockstep with all those that are around you, with Boudica, with unity here. And Rhiannon for self-trust, it's like people are, if you are not going along with their idea, they are impinging upon your sense of character. They are saying that you are being encouraged to believe that you can get through this, work through this, you can do what needs to be done to react to this anger and rage, to react to this perceived injustice. I mean, this top row in a way is a summary of cancel culture, you know, public outrage culture. Now, some things it's well worth being outraged about, but pick your battles and know your limitations. And here, I think what you may be called to protect is nothing more than protecting the right to be angry and to the right to be going in lockstep with everybody else. Whereas at the bottom, you have promised yourself already that you want to be abiding by a more natural order of things. So I think really the message of this is avoid any bandwagons. Certainly any bandwagons that are associated with work and work colleagues. Because you have the strength to create a whole new universe for yourself that will be working in harmony. But not if you are listening to others who are trying to undermine your sense of self because you are not fully feeling in lockstep with them. And I believe that they will be pointing out that you can't be trusted and that you are weak because you are not going along with what they are going along with. I just want to say I said that quite forcefully, and I don't think that they are right or that they are fair. This is the stuff trying to suppress you I'm talking about here. Do not... You need the strength to go, yeah, I don't know what I don't care what you think, because I have made a contract with myself that I will obey what I see as the natural order, not what you define is the latest outrage. And you have the strength to, okay, that one wants to come out. Yes, because this anger and rage is all based on lies anyway. There's been a lot of Seven of Swords coming out in these full moon readings. This anger and rage is all based on lies, basically. And it is a trap that you that you could be, and people around you definitely are getting sucked up into, because they're seeing their works, for want of a better word, being broken down. But you are, when you are called to this, react to this anger, it's like, hang on a minute, that doesn't agree with how I see myself, Hanged Man with Akat here. But the truth is that, yeah, you do have to work to obey that natural order that you perceive, and you do have to work to be the change that you want to be. But that work will grow excuse me. That work will grow a fertile harvest. It is something that you can nurture, and in the face of all these other people's criticisms, you can nurture your own self and your own strength here. But with Nyx here, and as I'm seeing her, the creation of a whole new universe for you, because you've got the world card here at the end, so world in harmony. So I will not call the reading, do you want to teach the world to sing? Tempting as it is. There is a chance of bringing through older values. Six of Cups here. Stability, contentment, and there's that nostalgic element. So it's almost like you are in a position where you are able to return to the morals of a child in a good way. I'm on about the innocence of children, not the way how children can be cruel, because they can. Awful things. But, you know, there's, that you can also have that wonderful innocence of a child doesn't care about certain things one way or another. It cares about what's good and what's fair. I'm being really nice to children there. But there's those values that you were brought up to believe. You know, we've all been in that position. Your parents will bring you up to believe a certain amount of values, and by the time you hit 18, you realise how all of those values that you've been brought up to believe the adults don't listen to. Because they've already had their dreams shattered and their hearts broken and what have you. But you've got a chance of living a new way where you can abide by those morals, but you have to put the work in to create it yourself. But once you start that ball rolling, once you start that first quantum division that started a Big Bang, assuming you accept the Big Bang model, then it's going to come up roses for you. Otherwise, it comes up, well, Five of Pentacles, lack, poverty, aloneness, and a resistance to change, because the beautiful fire is the other side of that wall. And that one person lying there can't see the change that's occurring, because nothing symbolises change more than fire. Now, from the Oracle of Heaven and Hell, we've got a Vasaria with clemency and equilibrium, opposed by Asmodee with lust and weak will. The lust and weak will be going along with the crowd. The clemency and equilibrium is very much the, no, that's, even if that is how the world works, it's not how I want my world to work. There is a more spiritual, divine, natural order to things. You know, like the difference between modern capitalism and the harmony of the Native American religions, where they are working alongside nature, with nature, rather than trying to control nature. There's more a natural order. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to go off and live on a Greenpeace ship or anything like that. But there's certain things that you see as fundamental to yourself, that if you don't get sucked along on this bandwagon, you have the ability to create a life for yourself where you can live those values. That's really nice. That is really nice. It's going to be hard work, but it's really nice. Okay, Libra, if that means anything to you, comment down below. Obviously, like, share and subscribe. I don't know what your next readings will be, because it's been a bit chaotic. You know, eclipse, retrograde, work, all sorts. So, yeah, see you when I see you. There'll be another reading soon. Cheers.